You are Locked On Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, your team every day.
It was a tough day for the Atlanta Braves in Chavez Ravine. We've seen many of these before, but Atlanta, the disappointment of not being able to win a series on the road against the Dodgers for the first time since 2017. It wasn't to be on Wednesday's getaway day as the Dodgers grab a 5-1 victory. They jumped on Charlie Morton early. We saw more Freddie Freeman than I think we wanted to see in this series. He was at it again in the finale, and the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta. Welcome to the Locked On Sports Atlanta Braves postcast. Happy to have you along with us. I'm Grant McAuley. He is Jake Mastroianni. We got a lot of stuff to get into on this show. Want to let you know some good housekeeping, though. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Locked On Sports Atlanta. If you're here, you already know, so make sure you click that bell, enable those alerts, and make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Braves. Jake brings you a lot of great content there. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, and the Braves postcast can also be found as part of Locked On Braves. Well, I'll tell you, Jake, one thing that could not be found for the Braves today was the offense, but it was also a rough one for Charlie Morton. Just kind of a languid day for the Braves all around.
It was just an ugly day all around. Hopefully this is one of those days where you were busy enough at the office that you had something to distract you, because this was not a fun one to watch.
No, it was not a fun one. I mean, Charlie Morton ran into Freddie Freeman right away. The 2-run homers, a laser beam off the bat of Freeman, just cleared the right field wall. You had Mookie Betts getting on base to start a game. I know he's had a little bit of a slow start for the Dodgers. Really hasn't looked like the impact player that he was as he came over from the Red Sox a couple of years ago and signed that mega deal. But we all know that Mookie Betts can show up today. He showed up, and Freddie Freeman showed out. 3 hits for him on the day, the 2-run homer, and on base a whole bunch of times throughout this one. And it was the Dodgers who flipped the script on the Braves, Jake, from a night ago when Max Fried was carrying a no-hitter into the middle innings. Today, it was Tony Gonsolin keeping the Braves hitless into the 6th inning. This was just a complete role reversal from what we saw not even 24 hours prior.
And I think that's what's hardest to take about this game is that, such a good win on Tuesday. You have good feelings coming into this one. You have on paper a good pitching matchup. It's a chance to win a series in LA and then come home with a winning road trip and get back home where you have some favorable matchups as well. So this just seemed like it could have been a game that really set the Braves off in a good direction. And I'm not saying they won't, but it just seemed like that opportunity for them, to kind of get that big series win over the Dodgers in LA, get your off day that you haven't had, and then start another homestand, but wasn't to be.
Well, game 14 for the Atlanta Braves goes down as a loss. Let's take you inside the box score as the Braves dropped to 6-8 on the year. A run on 3 hits, no errors, and 3 men left on base for the Braves. Dodgers 9-3, 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors, 8 men left on base for Los Angeles. Tony Gonsolin picks up the win with 6 strong innings of 1 hit ball. He's 1-0. Charlie Morton got knocked around early, a couple of add-on runs as he pitched into the 6th inning, but just wasn't as sharp, and clearly a couple of home runs allowed. Contributed to the Dodgers building up a lead that the Braves offense simply couldn't find a way to claw back into this game and overcome. 1-2 now, Morton on the year, no save in a game that lasted 2 hours and 43 minutes, and a crowd of 38,888 were on hand to see it. Well, let's break some things down as far as what went on with Charlie Morton, what didn't go on for the Braves bats. We've also got a good update from down on the farm that I know you're going to want to hear. Before we do all that, though, I want to tell you about Built Bar. All Built Bars covered with 100% real chocolate. These are low-calorie, high-protein. You can replace your candy bars with these because they're better for you. Most Built Bars, 130 calories with 17 grams of protein, as compared to most candy bars that have 200 to 300 calories and a whole bunch of sugar and stuff that you just simply don't need. At Built Bar, they're all about taste. They make it taste delicious, and they figure out how to make it healthy. You can use the promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. That is Built.com. Let's dive in a little bit more on Charlie Morton's start here. It was the 2-run homer by Freddie Freeman that I think set the tone for the Dodgers and their offense. Tony Gonsolin, that 2 runs was really all he needed. 5 1/3 innings for Charlie, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks for him, only 4 strikeouts, couple of home runs. It was Freeman, also Edwin Rios, who went deep in the 5th inning off of Charlie. He just hasn't looked like he has quite found that comfort level, I guess, on the mound these couple of outings out in California on this road trip, Jake.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet. I think maybe we were teased a little bit with that first outing when he did look really sharp, but obviously still trying to feel his way back off the injury. He wasn't there, like you said, just wasn't as sharp. Even in that first inning, those at bats to Betts and Freeman, location was kind of all over the place. In fact, the ball that Betts hit, it was a fastball up above the zone. He just got the bat up to it and was able to line it out to the outfield. And then the pitch to Freddie, down and in. I know that's kind of
Yeah.
a left-handed hitter's wheelhouse, but still, I mean, that took an incredible swing by an incredible player in Freddie Freeman. So, I mean, he just wasn't there, but it just shows you the kind of pitcher he is, that he wasn't that sharp. He still got you through 5+ innings before ran into some trouble in the 6th inning there. He gave the team a chance to come back and be in this game. Offense just wasn't there, but only 7 swings and misses for Charlie in this game, 5 of them coming on that curveball, which is his money pitch. But yeah, just again, he'll get there. I have no worries about him at all. But back-to-back starts, like you said, on the road, just not as crisp with his pitches as we're used to seeing from Charlie.
Yeah, the first outing certainly was a good one. San Diego ran into a little trouble with the Dodgers, ran into a little trouble. I don't feel like he's that far away, but I also can imagine that for him, coming off that injury, rehabbing, not having a normal offseason really because of the lockout and everything, then the shortened spring training. I think for Charlie Morton, maybe more so than anybody, this was a year in which he came in probably with some questions, at least in the back of his mind, and wanting to check quite a few boxes. And the good thing is, you're seeing him out there every 5th day. He is taking the ball at least into the middle inning, the 5th inning and beyond, which is the bare minimum that you want from a starter. And we saw Charlie start off a little bit slow a year ago and find himself and really contribute in a big time way to the Braves, of course, going all the way and winning the World Series. Tony Gonsolin was sharp, 6 innings of 1 hit ball. The only hit was an infield single for Manny Pino, of all people. That happened to lead off the 6th inning. 3 walks and 3 punch outs, some double plays the Braves hit into, certainly helpful for Dodgers pitchers on this day. Jake, you mentioned Austin Riley not here today. Paternity list is what he was placed on prior to this contest. So early congratulations to the Riley family for the birth of their new child. And we'll, of course, get more details on that as the hours and days go by. But congrats to Austin. That's a good reason to miss a game, I guess. But clearly the Braves missed having one of their big bats in the lineup. It didn't really even wake up until 2 outs in the 9th inning. Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna, back-to-back doubles to break up the shutout. Just 3 hits on the day for the Braves. Just honestly not a good one for the offense. And I would imagine that after playing 14 consecutive games to open up the season, Jake, they're looking forward to this off day that awaits them on Thursday, then a homestand that also has an off day built into it. This is just an abnormal situation and one of the things that the lockout has done to the schedule for the Atlanta Braves.
For sure. And, they don't want to make excuses, and I know they're not going to, but yeah, 14 straight to begin a season, that is not typical. So I know they're looking forward to this off day, getting back home, but still, I don't think that's necessarily an excuse for why the offense just was not good at all today. And I get it. You take Riley out of there, you take Travis d'Arnaud out of there. Ron Acuna obviously hasn't been there all year. And this lineup is just not as deep as what we're used to seeing. You get past Ozuna, the top 3 in that order, and it's just a lot of question marks right now. A lot of players who are honestly just struggling right now. So that had a lot to do with it as well. Also, just did not think these were really great at bats they were having against Gonsolin. Again, part of that could be 14 days in a row. It's a getaway day, going back home, thinking about that off day. You can put all of that in there for sure, but still, this was a game they could have won. I think probably should have won if they were just a little bit more focused and dialed in to it. And you talked about it, they'd get a walk, and it just seems like a double play came. Like even in that 8th inning, you get the leadoff walk, and immediately a double play. Just that kind of day could not get any traction going until that 9th inning. As you said, I thought we were going to have a game where Matt Olson didn't get on base, and then he gets the double there, and Ozuna follows that up. So at least they avoided the shutout, but it was pretty hard watching this offense on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, you're going to have some of these. The Braves do split the series with the Padres. You would have liked to have taken 3 out of 4 there, had a chance to take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. It is still early yet. A lot of the season left to go as you've played, again, just 14 of the 162 games to follow. A very much needed off day is what the Braves are awaiting after going 3-4 in the 7-game road trip. One other thing happening today, it wasn't happening out in Los Angeles. It was down in Jacksonville, Florida. Ronald Acuna Jr. back in action with Gwinnett, day 2, game 2 of his rehab. So back-to-back games already, a day game after a night game. for Ronald. He started as the designated hitter and leadoff man, 0 for 3, a walk, a stolen base, a run scored for him against the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, and DHing for the full game. So Ronald Acuna Jr. back in action. Stealing a base, I think, certainly something that raises a lot of eyebrows in a good way, because that's a big part of who Ronald Acuna Jr. is as a five-tool player and a superstar who's a catalyst for the top of the Braves order, and his return cannot come soon enough. But we have a homestand that awaits the Braves after the off day on Thursday. We'll set up the series against the Marlins, which is what is awaiting the Braves when they return to Truist Park. First, I want to let you know about betonline.net, your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including the basketball playoffs, the start of baseball season. BetOnline is your source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Over at betonline.net today, you can learn more. BetOnline is where the game starts. Braves going to take that breather we've talked about after playing 14 consecutive games to open the season. It's a 6-game homestand that awaits with the first of 3 against the Miami Marlins. Then the Cubs will pay a visit to Truist Park as well. It's Kyle Wright against Trevor Rogers in the opener of this 3-game set. And after playing a club like the Dodgers and even a club like San Diego out in California, a couple of places where the things have gone wrong for the Braves in road trips in years past, it has to be nice to get back into the division and match up with a club like the Marlins, who the Braves have kind of had their number in recent years.
Yeah, it is, and it should be, a welcome sight for the Braves and hopefully an opportunity to get on track. But we know that Marlins pitching is very good as well, so that's not great for the offense right now in the state that they are in. But you also got Kyle Wright going, Bryce Elder, and Ian Anderson in this series. 3 young pitchers. Elder and Wright have looked good, and Anderson's been kind of up and down. So curious to see how they respond and what they look like in this series going up against an offense. They have some young players coming up, but should be an opportunity for them to get rolling, get some good starts under their belt as well.
Yep, I agree. I talked about this on Battery Power over on SB Nation about who has the best starting rotation in the National League East, with some question marks around Max Scherzer at the start of the season and with Jacob deGrom out. I didn't go Mets. I went Marlins because I think there is a lot of young talent on this staff, and they are going to make it tough on some teams more days than not, I think, throughout the course of the 2022 season. It'll be Trevor Rogers who answers the call first against the Braves, the left-hander who's 0-2 on the year. Kyle Wright gets the ball for Atlanta. He is 1-0. First pitch on Friday night at Truist Park is set for 7:20 Eastern time, and then the Cubs will be coming in for that 3-game set after the Braves conclude business with the Marlins and get yet another off day, which will be happening on Monday. So a couple of days off. Maybe the Braves can reset after a disappointing day against the Dodgers and a road trip in which maybe some missed opportunities to bring home a winning record. But a lot of games left to be played and back at home. I think the Braves will be looking forward to that. And perhaps these off days will help them recharge just a little bit. And of course, I can't say it enough, and I'm going to keep saying it till it happens. Ronald Acuna Jr.'s return also getting closer by the day. Thanks for joining us again on the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Subscribe on YouTube. Click the bell to get notified every time we drop an episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast. He's Jake Mastroianni. I'm Grant McAuley. Thanks for joining us again. Once again, your final score: Atlanta 1, the LA Dodgers 5. We will catch you next time on the Braves Postcast. So long, everyone.